This is Elvis died at the Florida Barber College. At 10 years old, I could not figure out what this Elvis guy had that the rest of us boys did not. I mean, he had a head, two arms, two legs, just like the rest of us. Whatever it was he had hidden away must have been pretty darn good, because he had every single young girl at the orphanage wrapped around his finger. About 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, I decided to ask Eugene Corthers, one of the older boys, what it was that made this Elvis guy so special. He told me that it was Elvis's wavy hair and the way he moved his body. About a half an hour later, all the boys were called to the main dining room and told that we were going to downtown Jacksonville, Florida, to get a new pair of Buster Brown shoes and a haircut. This is when I got the big idea. It hit me like a ton of bricks. If the Elvis haircut was the secret, then that was what I was going to get. All the way to town, that was all I talked about. The Elvis haircut that I was going to get. I told everybody, including the matron who was driving us from the orphanage to town, that I was going to get the Elvis haircut and look just like him, and that I would learn to move like him, and that one day I would be rich and famous just like he was. I was smiling from ear to ear when I got my new Buster Brown shoes, and I was very proud as I walked around the store showing everybody. They shined really, really good, and I liked looking at my bones and feet through the special x-ray machine the shoe store had that made your bones look green. I could hardly wait for my new haircut, and now that I had my new Buster Brown shoes, I would be very happy to go back to the orphanage and practice being like Elvis. We finally arrived at the big barber shop where they cut your hair for free because we're orphans. I ran up to one of the barber chairs and climbed onto the board that he had put across the arms to make me sit up higher. I looked at the man and said, I want an Elvis haircut. Cut my hair just like Elvis. I asked him with a great big smile on my face. Let's just see what we can do for you, little man, he said. I was so happy when he started to cut my hair. Just as he started to cut my hair, the matron motioned for him to come over to where she was standing. She whispered something to his ear, and he shook his head like he was telling her no. She walked over to another man sitting in the office chair and spoke to him. Then the little man walked over to the man cutting my hair and told him what he had heard from the matron. The next thing I knew, the man who was cutting my hair told me that they were not allowed to give us Elvis haircuts. I saw him put this comb thing onto the end of the clippers and then saw all of my hair fall onto the floor. When he had finished shaving off all my hair and made me smell really good with his powder, he gave me a nickel and told me to go outside to the cracker machine and buy myself a candy bar. I handed the nickel back to him and told him that I was not hungry. I'm so sorry, baby, he said, as I climbed out of the barber chair. I'm not a baby, I said as I wiped the tears from my eyes. I sat down on the floor and brushed the hair off my new Buster Brown shoes so that they would stay shiny and new. I got up off the floor, brushed off my pants shorts, and walked towards the door. The matron was smiling at me sort of funny-like. The man who had cut my hair walked over to her and she said to her, You're just a damn bitch, lady. She yelled back really loud at him and then walked towards the office as fast as she could. The man hit the wall with his hand and then walked outside where he stood against the brick wall smoking a cigarette. I slowly walked outside and stood beside him. He looked down, smiled at me, and then patted the top of my bald head. I looked up at him with red eyes. Do you know if Elvis Presley has green bones? And that's the story.
Okay, that was 3:30.
Oh, yay.
So you were, well, yeah, well in the time.
Sweet.
You did it!
Yeah.
And if you had more, you would have gone way over.
Yeah, I probably would have, because I was like finding the shortest speeches I could do, and they were all like 4 pages, and I was like, that's going to be like super long.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, is, have an introduction on your own intern.
It was just one that like didn't already have a story to it like the other ones, so it was kind of hard. Like if you took it from like Macbeth, you had the story surrounding it,
right?
Or the Animal Farm. So I didn't really know how to like introduce this one.
Yeah, well, you can give us context. You know who the author was. You know if it's just a short story.
There wasn't even an author on it. It was just
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Just give it what give what you can, right? You know what it spoke to you. You know how it, the impact it had on you. Like hearing this kid's story. Disappointment or whatever. But give it a little bit of frame. Yeah, that would be my one suggestion. I thought in terms of vocal delivery, I thought you did a really nice job emphasizing, maybe slow down just a tiny bit. But I thought in terms of capturing the essence of the speech, I think you did that quite nicely. There was, excitement that you conveyed, and his disappointment. Maybe that's where we could have slowed down just a little bit, just so that could stand out a bit. Eye contact, you did okay. It's hard with these things, but I thought overall I thought you did a nice job.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it. You're good to go.
Super easy.
You did it.
Gotta go figure out how to get back into my dorm before math.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that would be important.
Yeah, but I still have to go to math because I got a midterm tomorrow for that class.
Ooh.
So, we gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Somebody will be around.
I hope so. I left my dorm room unlocked. It's getting into the building.
Okay.
Because I know that they have keys in the CC for the actual room.
Okay.
But going in is the problem. Because
Okay.
they don't have gold keys to lend out, so
Oh.
it's kind of a mess. But we'll
Okay.
figure it out.
You'll get it. Have a good one, Katie.